What's going on, everyone? A non-TCG, and I want to touch on two topics today. First, a quick update, or secondly, a quick update on Pokemon Booster Box availability distros. And really, the first point is, you know, TCG Player Cyber Weekend sale. It's great for stores and sellers, but it's also a double-edged sword. Um, I sold a Kaladesh Inventions Soul Ring. The card was in pristine condition. I pulled it. I actually pulled it out of a Russian Kaladesh box. I got a case off eBay a couple of years ago for $800 because a lot of the foreign language boxes sell at a discount, but the inventions are all printed in English, so it was good value, and got lucky pulling the card. And it's double sleeved. Obviously, the tight inner sleeve reverse from the outer sleeve. In a top loader, taped up with protection, et cetera, et cetera. So the dude's like, the card wasn't near mint. I want a refund. So I respond as usual because I can't stand scammers. It's so annoying. And generally it's with cheaper cards, but with more expensive cards, it happens from time to time where people just want like $50 off, because they're scummy. So my response is it's always, I'm happy to provide a full refund if you return the card, and I'll refund your shipping once I get the card, and that's what TCG Player's policy is. Now, if there's address forwarding, and a lot of folks send cards to Oregon, Washington, and send them overseas, that voids the return policy for TCG Player. That's a big no-no. So if people do that, TCG Player will never side with the buyer because it gets a little scammy there. But in this scenario, he's like, yeah, it's nicked and whatever. So I simply respond that you're happy to return the card for full refund. That's what we do, and that's what most reputable sellers or all reputable sellers should do. So the response is, well, I actually see a paint spot on the front, and the card must be damaged because it was up against the tape. Well, I packed the card. It wasn't against the fucking tape, guy. As I said, there was an inner sleeve and outer sleeve. So at this point, I read the first sentence and I know that the guy's just trying to scam me and get money out of me. So then the second sentence is, I don't really want to return the card because I don't want to lose the credit from the sale. So at this point, you have three red flags where the guy's just trying to fuck you over and steal money from you. And it's frustrating. So of course, my response is what are you proposing? And if he proposes, I can't even talk, 20, $25, that's fine. I mean, I sold the card for $700. Like play cards are $800. So the guy's an idiot. There's a 99.9% chance I'm going to say, just return the card. Then he's going to ding my, I've 100% feedback. So I'm sure he's going to try to ding that. Then I'll have to not fight with TCG Player. Just be like, look, the dude's a scammer. Going to have to block him. And it's unnecessary headache in this industry. It's frustrating because it doesn't matter what you do to help the community, help the industry, help people out. There's always a scumbag just looking to fuck you over. But it is what it is. Anyway, I just got that email and back and forth, so I figured I'd rant about that. But on to the more important point. Pokemon Booster Boxes are sold out across almost every distributor. We got a note today from two distributors, the two that had product other than Magazine Exchange, which anybody can take a look and see what their price is on their site, that they went from open sale to they are now limiting sales of Scarlet and Violet base, which shocked me. How they evolved, Obsidian Flames, and Paradox Rift. Nobody has Temporal Forces. Nobody has Twilight Masquerade. To 6 boxes per store per week. So there must have been such a massive run on booster boxes. And look, guilty. We're probably at $50,000-$60,000 of boxes, including non-distro deals, which we'll talk about at some point in the future. Of boxes here. So there must have just been a straight run on these boxes where there's nothing left. And, there's no reprints coming anytime soon because we just got a reprint for SV 2, 3, and 4. There was some Twilight that leaked out. No Stellar. I should take that back. Stellar Crown is limited, but it's still available to some extent. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next week or so to see if the price comes up a bunch and it gets limited there. That being said, I mean, once this supply is gone, there's nothing coming. In fact, the next main set to get reprinted is probably going to be Surging Sparks. Because think about it, they have Prismatic Evolutions coming out with 9 different SKUs or whatever it is that I'm sure they're printing like crazy. A colleague of mine reminded me that MetaZoo is apparently printing their new set in one of the Pokemon print facilities. So he was bugging me. He's like, you got to mention it, and I laughed because it's yeah, that print run isn't it's like a pimple on a gnat's ass. It doesn't matter, but I think it's funny because he's like, you got to say it. And then we have this 151 Blooming Waters thing, which is again, I keep looking at the Charizard UPC and how much of that freaking product they pumped into the market. How much of the Sea and Sky from Sam's Club, which, by the way, didn't seem to move the market at all. It's just getting eaten up. And I just see pallets and pallets and seas of this stuff getting printed, and the market's going to eat it up. They're going to buy it all. I'm going to buy as much as I can. I'm sure everybody else out there is going to buy as much as they can. But, when they're printing that, they're not printing something else. And look, let's not kid ourselves. Pokemon can print whatever they want, and there are limitations, but they have more than enough money to overcome those limitations if they want to. And then we get into, I'm sure they probably haven't started printing the team up set for March, but they're probably going to be soon. And then you have all the specialty products. So it's going to get crazy here. You see Surging still at 210. It's going to be there for a while because I think, well, it's a great product. I think some of the funds are going to get diverted to some of the cheaper products. Again, guilty with the sale that we did on Cyber Monday. Obsidian Flames at 122. Again, I don't have any of that. I'm at the point where if I could get it, I'd probably buy it. Stellar Crown, we have 600 boxes plus more coming. Paldea Evolved, I think we're sitting at somewhere around 25 cases. 142. Scarlet and Violet base we don't have. Probably should at some point, but the ship is kind of sailed on that because there's just better value out there for a reasonable price. Look, Evolving Skies at $99.99. I wish they would. TCG Player would just delete all of those stupid listings, but whatever. Temporal, 133. I thought that was up to 140. Maybe it came down. Look at Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift is sitting at 125. You click on this here. I mean, these boxes were on sale 4 weeks ago with one of the distributors at $87. And I didn't buy any because we're loaded up on Surging Sparks. And, I'm kicking myself a little bit for it. But, it is what it is. The opportunity costs probably made the same nominal dollars or nominal dollars per box. So it's not a big deal. Temporal came down a little bit. I thought it was at 140. There actually may be a little bit of Temporal coming out, but there's still 200 boxes here. So what's interesting from my perspective is a lot of these have moved quite a bit, and Stellar is the most interesting. And it's the most interesting because nobody really gives a shit about the product, right? This is release day. 100 boxes sold here. Not a big deal, but there's 20 boxes selling a day. I mean, there's 638 boxes and 300 are trading card world. So there isn't that much out there. And what's interesting, and I've been pointing this out for a while, is look, the Terrapagos chase has been okay. It's been holding up, not crazy. Not that dissimilar to Raging Bolt and Temporal. But the Squirtle's going batshit crazy. And, we know products getting ripped. This has been out since September now. So you're September, October. You're almost 3 months in the market. 4 months? 3+ months in the market. So a ton of this product's been ripped. People are moving on. But it's a really nice set. It really is. I like it. I think the cards are beautiful. I mean, this thing was at $35 forever. Now you're back up at 50. Not a whole lot of room until you're at 60. For those of you who don't know, the Squirtle and Bulbasaur here, I believe they match and somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong, the Charizard from 151, the illustration rare. So I think it's a cool set that people are going to look at. The Terapagos is obviously super playable. But then again, everything I know about how to play Pokemon is from the new game, which I've played for like 10 minutes and got bored, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, it's interesting where these boxes are going to go next. I mean, we know they're going to go. They're going to go to MSRP very quickly. But don't sleep on Stellar Crown. Yeah, I like it. So anyway, guys, join the Discord. Please join the Discord. We have some big sales coming up. Innistrad remastered collector sets or collector boxes, some Bloomberg Commander displays. We're planning Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. We may do a sale on some ancillary products depending on how much we get, to be determined. We're going to do one on Blooming Waters 151. And then we'll see what else. We'll see what happens. We may do a throwback and do some of the older boxes depending on what happens. But obviously, we'll have an extremely competitive price. So anyway, guys, again, join the Discord. Notifications are in there. It's actually hopping right now. So, all right, guys, have a good night.